was more Aaron Donald on the McVay wedding registry? Did you get that instead of a gravy boat for the McVays?
Yeah. You know, you look at the registry and like, okay, what's Sean really going to do with like this type of spoon or this, fork to, stick in the pot roast? So
yeah,
let's do Aaron Donald instead.
Wise choice, Les. I think that's a win-win. We call that a win-win for everybody. So how long has this been in the making, Les, this contract?
I mean, this has been in the making, right? I mean, since the probably the moment after the Super Bowl. And that I know, AD had been discussing whether if he ever won his first, would he retire, would he not? So we've obviously been in communication with Aaron, with Todd France, Athletes First, probably a couple days after the Super Bowl up until yesterday. Okay.
And so when he mentioned on a podcast recently on Brandon Marshall's show that he would be at peace with his career, was that a message in your direction? Were things going a little sideways or anything like that at the time? Or
I think at that point in time, right, the momentum of the negotiations were in a very good spot. Okay. I think it was probably the timing of the podcast. Maybe they asked a big picture question on retirement, and I think AD probably laid out probably his reasons for thinking about it, which. Really with Aaron, and I'll say this, he's obviously one of the best defensive players to play the game, things like that. But I do think Aaron's one of those players when, right, he really wants to take a look inside and figure out if he can still be the best defensive player. And I think he did that soul searching and figured out and thought that he still could be, and that's why he decided to come back and play.
And in terms of coming back and playing, the contract appears to be the same number of years left that he had anyway. It's just a highly enhanced monetarily contract. What's the general sense that you have for that third year where he'll have a decision to either walk away or make $30 million, which way he might even be leaning? Less.
I think again, we'll take it one step at a time, year by year, and I think that's a reasonable number to, let's call it, to start and to have this contract, and then at that point, after each year, we'll sit down and discuss, hey, what's best, what's Aaron, and at this point, it's in Aaron's hand, right, of how long he wants to continue playing. But I do think big picture, Aaron does think that right now in this situation, our situation, the Los Angeles Rams, based on the core that we have, we all have the vision of kind of making the most of the window we're in presently.
Les Snead, general manager of the Rams here on the Rich Eisen Show. You just mentioned the window that you have presently right now and how it works not just the timing for Donald, but maybe for you with the team. I guess I'll ask the general question that fans are wondering. How do you have room under the cap for all the signings that you have, including Donald? Les, how does this work?
You know what the neat thing is, the cap. The cap is we gotta love the cap. I think it helps the NFL, right? It helps everyone in the NFL be competitive. There is ways to be creative, to get under and things like that. So I think our philosophy right now is in the situation we're in our window, right? Aaron Donald, very, very important. So there's no better money to spend on the defensive player or any player other than him. And at that point, there are sacrifices that we do have to make in other places. And I know you had mentioned it earlier, right? The picks and things like that. But when we do someone like Aaron, there is that moment where we have to do a really good of drafting a player like Greg Gaines, who maybe no one on your radio show or even in your studio knows who he is, right? Homegrown in L.A., played at Washington. I think we drafted him in the 4th round, but he's been starting beside Aaron, starting last year and will start this year. So we have to do our part in making sure we draft and develop those type of players, and they come in and contribute.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.